as Kalpana said, a little bit about myself. I come from a corporate background. I spent 25 plus years in the city working in investment banks in various places. And interestingly, I had a number of tragedies and I think all of us relate to this. We've had some sort of loss of people that we care about. I sadly lost my mum when I was 13, had some difficult times growing up. My father was a really kind person, but he also was unfortunately into alcohol, and it caused a lot of challenges for our lives. So we grew up with a lot of challenges: debt, hardship, bullying, and emotional and physical abuse. So having grown up in that environment, I think for many of us who've had that experience or who know people who've had, we either become defeatist and beat ourselves up or shrivel back, or we get philosophical and we want to know more and try and understand why those things happened. I was the second category. I was fortunate enough to have a great family around me, extended family, who motivated me and helped me to step up and not sink down because of all the challenges. And so that kind of led me on a spiritual, personal development journey back in the early 1990s. And so alongside the corporate career, I went on a personal development, spiritual journey of training and learning. And that kind of led in the past few years to, I've been doing this for 10 years, mantra therapy, running retreats, lovely Sneha, and taking people away to beautiful places in Europe, and then doing some coaching on the side. And it was just really seeing some great people, some of who are on this H.O.P.E event at the moment and the previous H.O.P.E event, seeing how they have really evolved. It really inspired me to do this full time. So over the past few years, I gave up my corporate career full time and took the plunge as a coach, a speaker, and various other things that I do in the corporate and the personal space. So I'm honored to bring some of the life lessons that I've learned, both with my coaching clients, my corporate and personal coaching clients, but as well as people who I've come across who've really been really honest enough and vulnerable enough to share the things that they've messed up on and the things that have actually worked. And having worked remotely for maybe 10 years on and off in my corporate career, I had some ideas that I wanted to share with you that have been proven, that work. And therefore this theme that I want to share with you all today is the theme of versatility. And the theme of versatility really matters a lot for me because I know many of you have been, I think it just needs to go on mute there. So I think a lot of us can relate to the need of the hour, that we need to modify what we're doing in order to make it work for our situation. So since we've all been forced upon with the situation that we're currently in, it's easy to forget that everything that we have is now confined, when in actuality it isn't. And so I guess one of the things I want to share is, an empowerment coach, somebody who really believes, and Amit, I know, resonates with this, Raki does as well, is to really re-empower ourselves with the choices that we do have. So while we don't have the choice of doing certain things, we certainly have choice within the sphere of our influence. So it's really looking at what is within the control that we have. And what I really want to invite you to do is to explore with me how we can become versatile, flex our versatility muscles in ways that we either may not have done or we thought about but we never did. So some of the stuff that I'm going to share may be familiar with you, and I know some of the great speakers who've spoken prior to myself have overlapped on some of this stuff, but let me structure it in 5 areas of versatility that I want to share with you. And obviously I'm going to welcome questions and stuff along the way. So the first area of versatility is diet diversity. So I know we've had some great speakers talking about health and nutrition, but I want to talk about the area of diversity in our diet. And by that, what I mean is becoming versatile and doing more with less. So we may not have as much food choices at the moment because of what's going on. We may not be able to go outside and shop or do stuff. So it's really starting to get creative about what we can do inside the kitchen, what's in our cupboard, what we can actually resurrect and bring to life. So I want to give you an example. I love this example. I love khichdi, right? So khichdi is a dish I learned, a long time ago when my mum passed away. One of the first dishes I learned when I was 13 or 14 is better bloody learn khichdi, because it's easy, it's practical, it's easy to do. So khichdi, here's a dish. It's an Indian dish. For those of you who are not Indian, khichdi is like the most well-known versatile meal in a pot from the Indian subcontinent, right? It's made with lentils and rice. There's your base. And then you can add all kinds of things to it. Why I like that as a great example of versatility is you have a simple base which provides your structure. But above that, you can start adding vegetables, you can add beans, you can have nuts. If you have legumes, you can throw legumes in. You can start getting really creative. People can even do sweet khichidis, right? Where you can use fruit and then use stevia to sweeten it, or other flavors, or rose syrup, and suddenly you have a sweet flavored. Kajal's here, so I'm not going to speak out of turns. This is the expert right here, but I can tell you certainly from my mind, hey Kajal, this creative brain right here loves to experiment. And so what I'm inviting you to do is experiment with what's in your kitchen, and don't be confined by what our parents or our society or our societal or our social conditioning has made us be. We need to break out of that box, and we can't wait for somebody to tell us that. It's on us, right? So these sorts of conversations hopefully start to inspire you to do something. The humble potato. How many things could you do with a potato? Kajal will roll with us. I know she'll pick up on this theme about being versatile. I know you will, Kajal. So let's start looking about being versatile with what we do and getting the maximum nutrition with what we do. Another great idea for those of you, I got to say this because I'm doing this right now, and Kalpana, keep me honest on the time. But here's an Onisha. So here's another thing. Bananas. Freeze those bananas. Once you've frozen some bananas, take them out after a day or two, put them in a blender, and start blending them up. That simple blend becomes a kind of like a makeshift ice cream, and it tastes creepily not like bananas and a lot like ice cream. The bananas lose their banana-ness. So what you have is a versatile ice cream wannabe substitute, which you can start adding protein powders. You can start adding almond butter. You can start adding spices or fruits. And suddenly you've got a mixed berry compote ice cream composition. So really it's getting creative. One, in the kitchen, so diet diversity. Second, physical diversity. So obviously with physical, I'm talking about exercise. Not all of us have the opportunity to go out and get those walks in for whatever reason. So again, we can start getting versatile within the confines of our space. I want to give you a great example. If you have a sofa or a cushion, you could be leaning back on that sofa or cushion and doing press-ups on that sofa or the cushion edge. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like, it's just getting really versatile about where you can be. If you have some bags of sugar, if you have a rucksack that you used to use for your work commute, load it up with some bottles of water, right? And then you can pack it on your back, and then you can start doing squats. So now you're getting weighted squats. So you're getting more bang for the bucks when you do your squats. You could be walking up and down while taking your conversations. Anybody who says, I want to show you this, I can't show you it now. Anybody who says you can't get enough steps in the house, I challenge you. I've got a through lounge, and yesterday I got 11,500 steps because I love to talk shit all the time, man. I'm talking all the time. You know what I'm saying? I like talking all the time. Anyway, listen, this is how I keep myself sane, right? We all love talking. And ladies, come on, tumne to what karta, tumne what banna thai. Bhagwan jane, if you start talking to your parents, I'm throwing in a bit of guju. The point is, we can get creative about our physical activity, and there is no age in bar. My in-laws are doing it, and they're over 70. I've got them walking back and down on the thing, talking to each other, taking calls. So starting to get versatile is a really good way to be. Guys, if you're tuned in or watching this because your partner's forced you to watch this awesome event today, hint, hint. If you are, don't be using the excuse about having no weight. Resistance bands. Look at these resistance bands. Suddenly you can start doing tricep presses from here. Tricep presses to work this. You do this slowly, your time under tension, and you'll get the same intensity as if you do heavy weights. Bicep curls, right? So you can start doing bicep curls here. So there's a lot of versatility that you can start to bring into your routine. And that leads me to my third point. We've talked about physical versatility and keeping ourselves sane through our diet and through our physicality. Now the third aspect is protocol diversity. Protocol and routine diversity is where, and I do this with a lot of my corporate coaching clients, especially some of the guys in the finance sector that I'm working with. They're so used to being on calls from the morning. They're so used to having a certain regime at work. Now they're thrown in, they're working from home. I was speaking to a recruitment consultant guy. We did a wellness session for them just a couple of weeks ago, and they're saying like the biggest thing is their routine's broken. They've got kids running around, and I'll come to that in a minute. And what we got them to do is starting to, again, become versatile about what your day looks like. So, for example, if your work schedule, if you work for yourself, consider chunking your time, or if you work for somebody, if you consider you're chunking your time or time shifting the work that you do so that you can get other things done in the day. So it could be, for example, you log in earlier than most people. So those of you who are working from home right now and you've got server connectivity issues and the performance is slow, consider logging in at 6 a.m. Wake up a little earlier, do 3 hours, Then you've got time for your family, for your spouse, you've got time for your self-care regime, or you've got time for your meditation, all the great things that people have been talking about and will talk about this afternoon. You can start to create that time by becoming versatile about how you look at your work day. And so I propose to you to chunk your day into 90-minute blocks. 90 minutes. Why 90 minutes? Because 90 minutes is considered an optimum time in the productivity space. It's one of my key areas. I'm a big passionate guy about productivity. 90 minutes is a great amount of time for us to do a sprint of work. I call it a sprint of work before our attention starts to go. And then we take a break because our cognitive faculties need a refresh. And in that break, you do something different. So this is where, again, the versatility comes in. You've done 90 minutes of work, 15 minutes go spend with the kids. 90 minutes of work, 15 minutes go do meditation or a physical activity. So it's really breaking up your workload with something that's contrasting. So you wouldn't do 90 minutes of work and then reading. You would be doing something that's quite different, that really shapes you up. So it's really firing your cognitive abilities and it's building strong neural connections. By that I mean that you're building neural pathways that allow you to you raise your IQ by doing this. So getting versatile about your daily routine. Another great thing in this area is about becoming flexible about who you spend your time with, how you spend your time and who you spend it with. So for example, you may have a fixed workspace at home that you use as your office space. But sometimes versatility means giving your kids, perhaps if you have kids, give your kids that workspace. Let them do their creative stuff right there on the workplace. Or if you're teenagers, give your teenagers the chance to have control of that workspace and you go somewhere else. Because a change of space, a change of scenery within your house, within your apartment, is often as good as a long break. And what it will do, it will fire up two particular hormones, dopamine and serotonin. Especially dopamine, because it starts getting you creative because you've changed your environment. It really can make a big difference. So that's tip number 3 around versatility, becoming versatile about our daily protocol and our routine. By the way, just as a point on that, even sleeping, some of you, I know we rubbish sleeping and we say that nobody should be working late at night, but listen, we all know that there are some people in this session right now and on the replay who probably work better when the kids are asleep at 11 o'clock at night and they'll bash out 3 hours of work. You business owners out there, you know what I'm talking about. That's your quiet time right there. So there's nothing wrong in doing that. Again, it becomes an aspect of versatility, becoming versatile to know, okay, I'll dedicate half my day to my family and to my domestic chores, and I'll get the late night when everybody's asleep and I'll do my work sprints, 90-minute sprints then. Anyway, so that's tip number 3 around protocol versatility. Tip number 4 is mindset and thinking versatility. And by that, what I'm talking about is an area I know Raki touched on, forgiveness. And it's again, bringing that versatility about learning to be more flexible, more tolerant of the people around us. And obviously, because we're in this confined space and everybody's kind of sitting on top of each other, it's easy to become annoyed. And so when we're talking about versatility with our mindset, what we're really talking about is becoming more forgiving, more understanding, and more flexible about the people around us and being more tolerant of that. In short, I'm talking about building our emotional intelligence, our EQ, as we call it in coaching. And some of you coaches who are out here, I know you know this and you're familiar with this. So it's raising our emotional intelligence and being situationally aware what's going around us and who's behaving in a certain way. Look out for the signs in your partner or for your children or the others you have in your house when they're feeling down. Maybe that time is a time where you need to take your mindset and become the coach. See, sometimes we have to become the coach for the people in our house. Sometimes we need to become a student for some of the others in our house and be willing and be humble enough to take advice and criticism that they may be giving us. Do you notice how we have to become versatile in our role play? Sometimes we're the boss, sometimes we're the servant, and sometimes we're something in between. We always have to shift our role, more so when we're in this confined space. So be flexible and open enough to become versatile as to the role that you play and the mindset that you bring to the people in your house and to your co-workers who you work with. You may need to become a coach and a counselor for one of your co-workers. You may need to motivate the people in your business. You may need to have them furloughed because you have no choice and you're going to counsel them through that. So it's becoming flexible with your mindset and becoming less rigid about the exact structure of your day. And that's going to help us to flex. Remember the example in life. A tree is huge, powerful, statuesque in its shape and its structure. And yet when a big storm comes, that tree can be broken down just like that. Whereas you look at the blades of grass, they're tiny, they're fragile. They're this small. The blades of grass do not break in the wind because they're flexible. They're versatile, they move. I love doing this with my hand. I could just do this all day. It's kind of like a Wing Chun move. I used to do Wing Chun and they kind of do this. Okay, anyway, just making sure you're all awake and listening. All right, and tip number 5 around versatility is around versatility with parenting. Now, we alluded to this in some of these other sections that I just covered, but versatility around parenting is something that I think seems to be a real problem for people right now. One of my coaching clients, she also works in the recruitment space, and she goes, my teenage son is driving me nuts. He's 13 years old. The guy goes out and he's going out way too much, and he's just going to get stopped by the cops and he's going to get in trouble. I'm losing my mind as to what I can do with this kid at home. And so we went through this thing and said, what's his key skills list? What's he passionate about? What is he good at? And we made this list and we found out that the guy likes cooking. 13-year-old guy likes cooking. Go figure. Anyway, 13-year-old guy likes cooking. So I said, okay, that's good. Okay, and does he get to cook? She goes, no, well, I do all the cooking. I said, I said, does he like to cook? She goes, yeah. So we went through this thing. I said, how about inviting him to become the lead cook in the house for 3 days a week? And he comes up with the menu. Empower him. So she started to put it into practice. This was about 2 weeks ago. And I got a note from her a couple of days ago saying that this is actually working. I've got my son and he's really taken it to the next level. Kajol, you'll love this. The guy's getting creative. He's becoming more versatile with his diet. He's kind of coming up with little healthy recipes. He understands now that there's limitations. What that helps, especially kids, even as young as 4, 5, 6, what it really helps them when we do this, when we empower children during this time, we're giving them a sense, not only are we giving them a sense of hope, but we're giving them a stronger sense of purpose, right? They feel like they're needed. They feel that they're playing a role in this thing. And by doing so, Viktor Frankl, those of you who are coaches, you'll remember Viktor Frankl, his biography. He got his son to see, he was in the concentration camps during the Second World War. And he started to get his son, he reframed the whole thing for his son by saying, this is a game that we're playing. These are all the bad guys, and we have to survive. He reframed the whole Holocaust experience for his son as a game. So imagine what we could do, all of us, with our children, with our dependents, our loved ones in the house, our elders even, right? Think of the elders who we've got, who are feeling disempowered and bored out of their heads. Maybe they can be empowered with a role to play, right? They read a scripture every once a week. We can start getting creative. And therefore, again, I invite you to become versatile with how you engage people in your space or away from you, but over the phone. Your parents, for example, you could do a Zoom where you have them come and give some wisdom once a week with Chacha and Chachi, Masa and Masi, once a week. Start thinking about how you can become versatile in your parenting and with your parents in these imaginative ways. And here's another great one. You know, kids who are used to playing the computer and being busy. If you're a business owner, how about if the kids are old enough, get them to start doing some research for you. Like get them to start creating logos, get them to start creating. A great injection for kids is creativity. Another great thing, one of my friends he just told me yesterday, he says now he does the 90-minute sprint thing because I showed him it and he does it. And he says in between the sprints now, he just does 30 minutes workout once a day with his son. And he's really loving it. They've bonded a little bit more, they're a bit more. And now, guess what? He's now told his son, you work out the workouts for the next few weeks. You come up with a workout routine and we'll do it. So again, you're empowering your kids to get out of a disempowered, potentially deconstructive type of behavior into something that's positive and that could actually help the whole family. Okay, I'm not going to hammer that point home anymore. So those are 5 key points for diversity. And I guess what I'm saying by saying all of this is I want to leave you with this formula before I share some music with you. And that is flexibility plus repurposing equals great versatility. I'll say that again. Sorry. Flexibility plus repurposing equals great versatility. So what we're doing is we're injecting flexibility, diversity, repurposing stuff, and I'm going to repurpose in a minute. And that allows us to become more versatile and become more like, and I'll leave you with that analogy, more like the blade of grass that can bend and sway with challenging times and storms rather than this tall tree that gets ripped out and smashed into pieces in a powerful storm. We want to be more like that grass, because notice also the grass, not only does it sway and move, grass does not get uprooted during storms. So we can still be centered, still be grounded, and still remain flexed with the people, the situation, and the surroundings that we have. So on that note, I'm going to share a little bit of repurposing that I've done. So anyway, I was born in the early 70s, ain't no lie about that. So very early 70s, very, very, very early 70s. I love the music from that era. And so I want to share a little Motown with you guys. Classic song by Bill Withers, which I absolutely love. And I think it's a very appropriate song for this current time. But what I've done is I've applied the spirit of repurposing, of versatility. And I've taken the song and I've blended it with a Sanskrit mantra called Om Namah Shivaya. And for those of you who are not of the Indian background or perhaps not aware of that particular mantra, Om Namah Shivaya is invoking the spirit of purity, of the divine, in the divine's pureness. Shiva also means auspicious. So what we're doing is we're invoking the spirit of auspiciousness and purity within ourselves. And let me explain a little bit about mantras. Mantra, the word mantra means to free the mind. Man means mind and tra means to release or to free. So what we're doing here is we're freeing the mind from its anxiety, its stresses. And mostly, as we all know, the mind is preoccupied with the stuff of the past, regrets of the past, anxiety for the future, and very little in the now. And so with mantras, we are forcing gently the mind to become focused in the present, the here and now. That's why we use mantras, to bring us present, and then each different mantra has a slightly different vibration and effect on our being. For those of you who understand about Reiki, who understand chakras and our energy centers that we all have, not just Indians, everybody has energy centers, right? I'm saying that facetiously because we all know this, right? We all have energy centers. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So by using mantras, we're able to align our different energy centers and our energetic bodies, our spiritual body, our emotional body, our mental body, our physical body, our astral body. So we're able to align those more firmly, ground them, and balance them. And that's what mantras will help us to do. And of course, mantras are a part of yoga, so they help us to connect with the source, with the supreme, with the creator. So on that note, I'm going to invite you to chant this mantra. You don't have to know it or believe it. It's just the vibration that it gives. So chant along with me, but stay on mute. I will sing later on, and you just...
I just want to say somebody is saying, oh my God, you're amazing, loving it. That's Deepa. Sujata says, love me some Motown. Poonam says, I listen a lot to Mahakatha on YouTube. It's magnificent. So
thank you, Kalpana. That's some really reassuring. Ladies, thank you so much for your comments. And I'm always mindful that I'm in the company with many, many knowledgeable people. I'm always respectful that so many of you know this already. And so forgive me, I'm just here to share what I have and what I want to give to all of you. It's something that we can do together. Thank you, Kalpana, for that. And thank you, ladies.
Okay, last comment. We love you, Prash, from Kajal. You are spreading so much love and knowledge. Okay, go for it, Prash.
Thank you. Kajal, as they say in Sanskrit, tathastu. Right back at you. Right back at you, girl. All right, so here we're going to roll. I haven't practiced or rehearsed this. It's just my thing. I don't do that. I just run and work with whatever intuits, right? So you're going to forgive me if it messes up, but be with me. I'm going to sing. You're going to listen. And when I do the mantra, Om Namah Shivaya, I will sing it once, and then I'll wait for you to sing on mute. And then we'll have a little bit of a tennis match, because there ain't no Wimbledon, so we may have our tennis match right here. All right? Y'all ready? Harri Dhokia in the house. UWW, baby. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. All right.
Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be too long till I'm gonna need someone to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be too long that I'm gonna need someone to lean on.
Come on.
On me, I'll be strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry.
Yeah, I did it reggae style. Yeah. That's repurposing right there, baby.
It won't be long. Someone to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be too long till I'm gonna need someone to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be too long till I'm gonna need someone to lean on.
You with me so far? Give me some thumbs up. Okay, here we go. Om Namah Shivaya, yeah?
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya.
Yo, come on.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya.
And again, let's raise it up. Let's get some hope.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya.
Come on.
Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. Om
Time to get versatile with the singing and make up the lyrics here now. That's what we're gonna do. Get versatile, get creative.
Crash, they're saying that they're loving one of Ronnie's loving the good tongue-eyed. Rashmita is saying that you hear love. Anushka is saying bright and day, loving the vibe, great music and mantra.
Thank you. We're gonna do one last out up, right? Get ready. I'm gonna make this up and you're gonna sing with me, alright? On mute.
Hope, we need hope. We will be hope for one another. Hope, we all need hope. So we will be hope for one another.
Come on!
Hope, we all need hope. We will be hope for one another. Hope, we all need hope. We will be hope for one another. Hope, we will be hope. We all need hope. We'll be hope for another. Hope, we all need hope. We will be hope for one another. We need hope. We will be hope for one another.
Yeah!
Crash, Rashmita says great tune. The other Kalpana says, oh, you're so talented. And Sejal says, well done, Crash. Always such a pleasure being in your company.
Thank you.
You've still got 10 minutes if you'd like to give us another tune, please.
I'm ready for some Q&A if there were any questions coming through.
You're just getting loads of compliments. No one's asking questions. They're all just praising you.
You see, thank you. That is because they're all enlightened, probably. They're mostly enlightened already. Or, as they say, as my parents used to tell me in Gujarati, "Gharna chokra ghanti chate and upadhyay no ato," which kind of means, you know, everybody kind of knows it all and, you know, they don't need saving. Kind of means that. But listen, you know, I love...
Anybody got any questions on Crash's motivational talk about the diversity in versatility? Is it 5 points? Diet?
I'm going to cover the 5 points. Nita to all. I'm going to cover the 5 points again. Yeah, sure. I'll do a recap for you. So the 5 points of versatility during difficult times, or versatility during adversity. The 5 points that I brought to surface are: 1, diet adversity. Diet diversity. Sorry. I've been fasting since yesterday. I do intermittent fasting. So slightly sometimes the older... Anyway, 5 points. Diet. And look, that's another thing actually, and I'll come on to that in a second. So diet diversity. And that means getting more versatile with what we have in the kitchen and flexible with the family members around what they want to eat. And it also means, you know, just getting creative about how we use the same ingredients in different ways, repurposing. Number 2, physical exercise diversity. So physical wellness diversity. And that can range from physically walking, exercising, doing press-ups, doing strength training. Don't forget, exercising isn't just one kind of thing where you just walk up and down and think you got that. I'm into fitness, and those of you guys who know me, I'm into martial arts and fitness. I love this stuff. I breathe and test this stuff myself, and I've done so for 20 years. So what I can tell you is that there is physical strength. So you've got to look at strength, you've got to look at stamina, you've got to look at conditioning, and you've got to look at stretching. And so there are these 4 key areas, and there are others too, but we want to work and exercise these multiple areas. So it's not just enough to just do press-ups and sit-ups or do press-ups and squats, as that I know guys like to do and think that they've done it. What we want to do is work those multiple areas. So we're talking about doing high intensity short bursts, skipping if your knees can handle it, skipping, jumping jacks, these little things for 2-3 minutes, sprinting on the spot. I tell you what my brother does. He runs up and down the stairs for 2 minutes, up and down, 2 minutes. That's his high intensity thing, and he's done. He won't do it again because he's not following the gym routine. He'll just come back 2 hours later and do it again. Because here, listen, let me show you this tip. What exercise routine and protocol do you think is the best routine for everyone? What's the best routine out there? Do you know what it is? It's the one that you actually stick to and play with. And that's what I want to say to you. Whatever it is, don't try and work around a routine. If you can't figure it out, just go and do something. And so it's these micro exercises that are really good. Stretching, yoga, all these other things. So let physical versatility cover these different systems around stretching, strength, conditioning, and cardiovascular. Then versatility area number 3 is protocol and routine diversity or versatility. And that's around the whole routine, splitting your day and your workload so that you can actually carry out your work in pockets of 90 minutes or 3 hours if you want to double it up with a short 15-minute break, and moving around your family or your other co-residents to make it conducive for them. So you're not hogging one space. So you're sharing a space. So you're sharing your mind with your co-workers. So that third principle is about protocol and routine diversity around your workloads and around how you spend time with your partner, your loved ones, and how you can split it up. You know, traditionally we were used to spending time with our loved ones and family after 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock when we come home from work. Business owners, I know that's a little different. Sometimes we work all the hours God sends us. But now we have this opportunity where we can, if we're employed, we can actually take an hour or 2 hours out, enjoy a fresh walk out there, because we're not fully locked down in the UK at least, and then come back and hit the work again. So it's protocol and routine diversity is the third factor. The fourth factor is mindset and thinking diversity. It's about reframing some of the challenges we got and seeing what opportunities. It means, for example, in your business, it's maybe changing and work. Harri, you'll know this. It's about pivoting. It's about changing what you offer to people. It's about, instead of working in your business anymore, maybe the time now is to work on your business. So it's becoming flexible in our mindset and thinking about how we can problem solve our business and our personal and professional lives. It's a great time to get creative as well. So tip number 4 about mindset and thinking is also creativity and innovation. How can we become flexible to innovate? And some of the best ways to do that is to start reading media and material that will help us, instead of the stuff about the epidemic out there, pandemic, and reading stuff that will fire your imagination, that wants you to start creating problems, creating solutions to problems that people have. So that's tip number 4, becoming flexible in our mindset and our thinking. It also means forgiving, stuff that Raki touched on earlier, forgiving and becoming more understanding and tolerant. Ultimately, it's about raising your emotional intelligence and empathy. And then tip number 5 was around parenting diversity and how to be, and by parenting, I mean also our parents as well as our children. It's about how to become more flexible and versatile with how we occupy those people and empower them, especially empowering them so they stay less out of mischief or an idle mind, especially the elders who don't have much to do and they sometimes feel like they're isolated, and giving them a sense of something, delegating something to make them feel empowered, or involving them in your business by getting them to do some creative little chores for you in your workloads, right? Give them a spreadsheet, have them work through stuff, or other creative ways, working out together with them for 30 minutes, or having the elders read Ramayana or some scripture, the Quran, whatever it is, get them involved. So that was tip number 4 around parenting diversity. And therefore my end motto was flexibility and purpose equals great versatility and diversity. That was the summary of what we did. I hope that was clear and helpful.
That was awesome, Prash. Poonam's asking if you've got a website. Kajal was asking if they're online. And Sejal has kindly shared your Facebook page saying that it's mantra therapy, Prash K, urban spirituality, and that on YouTube you've got some videos with urban spirituality. And she's also answered the question that mantra therapy happen every 3 months or so. Would you like to tell us when you might have the next session, please?
Absolutely. I'll share these points in a quick roundup, as I know we're near at time now. So firstly, yes, we do have mantra therapy, physical mantra therapies normally, but obviously in this current climate, we'll be looking to do an online mantra therapy music jam session with this kind of stuff, guest speaking, and a beautiful, creative, and inspirational experience, typically 2 hours long. Watch out, it's our 10th anniversary in May. And so we'll be looking to do a 10th anniversary mantra therapy sometime in May. It'll be online, it'll all be promoted on our channels, and those of you who are following us will get to know for sure. So watch out, we'll do an online mantra therapy with lots of guest singers, musicians and speakers. Our retreats, I know people have asked as well, so our retreats, we're about to go online and do some online retreats. Thanks to Sadie, Harry's wonderful partner, who's been a great support in this area. We're going to be doing some online retreats, so stay